Page 30, Putting on the Ritz, from a picture called Putting on the Ritz. Key of E major, you gotta love it. This piece moves. It says a moderate swing, but it's more like it's almost an allegretto. It's just swing. The swing comes in because we're going to swing the eighth notes. Because at the beginning of the right hand they're written this way. Notice the fingering is 5, 4, 2. If you swing it, it's this way. Next one, again, 5, 4, 2. It's a C, G natural, staccato, and then a B sharp, F sharp. That's the introduction, and then we start the song. Again, I like this. We're in this position for this chord, and that's the fingering, and that's what I recommend. Yes, like that, fourth finger. 1, 2, now let's get rid of the swing for a bit. Just play straight eighth notes. Okay, at the measure 5, the second line. The 5 with a box around it, that's a measure number. All right. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and you just gradually speed that up because it's all syncopated and it doesn't sound like it's in 4/4 time according to what's going on in the right hand. It's here. It's weird. So you just have to work that out. I'm hoping that you can read that rhythm and figure it out yourself rather than waiting for me or somebody else to play it first and then just copy the rhythm. All right. Second line. First measure, hold that whole note down and it's tied, so you're going to hold it for a long time while you play these, and these are staccato, so it is sort of a wrist thing, but you're holding one note down, so you're limited on how much you can do that. So it's a B, G sharp, B sharp, D sharp, staccato, and then here an A, C sharp, D sharp. That's not staccato. The quarter note, it's accented. So, and then next measure is a staccato again. Lift up, and then lift. Move your hand up. 4, 3, 1. You could just as easily do a 3, 2, 1. It's up to you. And then a 4, and then a 3, and a substitute right quick. Because you got these other staccatos to do while you hold that down. And then the last measure is I do a 2, 5, but you can do a 1, 5 if you want, and then here, because it's staccato, you can do that. If you use third finger there if you want, or here. I use fourth finger to do that. It's your choice. Then the next line's the same as the second line, and this last line, the first couple of measures is almost the same. The last couple of measures, you're just in this chord. Staccatos, top of page 31. Now it's smooth again, so starting at the first of the line. Next measure, it's an A, S, C sharp, and then again, last measure, second line, the rhythm. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and it's tied there at the end. I don't know if the left hand will help you much either because it's got a slightly different rhythm. So going on, we're back to this position again. Now, the last measure of the fourth line, and then here Going into the first ending is third finger and then reach down. You can separate those first two notes if you have to. If you have to. Same thing in the second ending. If you go here, you're here, but you're only going down to an E, so that's easier. And the last notes and the last measure in the right hand is a C, D sharp, E sharp. I don't use their fingering. You can use their fingering if you want, because I'm here. And I can do a 2, 3, 5 because I'm there already. So I do. I don't move my hand around anymore and I have to. For the left hand, broken chords and keep the left hand down. The left hand's got some sanity to its rhythm because the right hand doesn't. I mean, somebody's got to play the sane part, right? So it's here. 3, 4, 5. Watch the fingering. Now, whether you use 5 or 4 on the G sharp, don't care, but get the thumb on the B sharp so you can cross over. And then the last measure of the first line, it's a G natural, and then again cross over. Third line down, you're here, the F sharp is tied, and you hold it down, so it's here, and then you can lift it up for the last two measures. As that's saying second finger, it's up to you, but second or third, either one. And that's a good, huge portion of what the left hand is doing. Let's take a look here on page 31, or should I say the pickup to 31. The last 3/8 notes at the bottom of 30, and the left hand is here. It's the same thing we've been doing before, but different notes, except now we're going to put fourth finger on the first note on page 31. So it's here, cross over fourth finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. There's an error in the music here on the second measure on page 31. In the first line, left hand, you're here, A, C sharp, and it's a B natural, C natural. But for the last chord, that should be C sharp, B, not a C natural. You see the C natural for the note above it, that applies for the rest of the melody, and it's any C in that staff, which would include the last C here. No, it should be there should be a sharp sign in front of that last C, so it's here. So both notes are only going down a half a step. So you can pencil in a little C sharp there. And then the next measure, it's a F sharp to an A, C sharp, D sharp, and it's staccato. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3. Like so. And then come down. 1 and 2 and 3 and then you're back to this. That rhythm again, and the third measure is like the rhythm in the first line and third. Different notes. The notes are G sharp, B, and C sharp. So here, so it's here. So last measure, second line. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That takes us down to the bottom, the second ending, the last couple of measures. You're here. Because before the last measure, the line above it, you're down here. So going into second ending, it would be second finger. They're saying second finger, but you can use third if you want. And then thumb, and then I do a 5-2 for the F sharp, C sharp. And then that chord in the last measure, that ugly looking thing, that is, you have to come up, that is a C sharp. And figure it out. The ledger lines, you see the C sharp is easy enough, the one ledger line. And then there's another ledger line, that would be an E, but there's nothing on it. And then there's another ledger line above that would be a G, in this case a G sharp, because it's in the key signature. So the second note is a G sharp, and then the note above that is in the space above that line, which would be an A, but there's a sharp sign in front of the A, so it's an A sharp. So that last chord is a C sharp, G sharp, A sharp. Now it's a little weird, but it matches the weirdness that was going on in the right hand. This thing, and it's all rolled together. All 6 notes. And then you hold the right hand down as you come down here to end it off. You work that out really, really, really slowly and get both hands together just at the beginning. You don't need to swing the 8th notes to start with. Just focus on your hands and your notes. This is after you've worked out the hands one hand at a time to get the notes and the fingering and where you got to move and work out the tricky spots. So it's here. Tendency when you play this really, really slow like this is when you get to the second line and you start kind of, oh, I can sort of do this, you want to speed it up. Don't. Keep it, even in the easier parts, you can do it, keep it slow. So when we get to the second line, it's here. These weird chords and the hands together. Keep this down, don't speed this up. Last 3 8 notes at the bottom of the page are by themselves because you had staccatos in both hands here. And then you go on. Now here, that's the third measure. The first line is 1 and 2. And the top note, the F sharp in the right hand is tied. And and you're playing them together. 1 and 2 and 3. That sounds weird, but that's what's written. It's not my fault. They did it. And then go on. Again, 1 and 2 and 3. Different notes. Now watch the rhythm here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and fun, isn't it? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and there. And then you're going up. What you had before. At the end, the second measure or the second ending there at the bottom, it's here. And then that weird chord. And then hold the right hand down. You work this out really, really, really slowly. And then once you kind of get sort of comfortable with the fingers, then you can start swinging the 8th notes again. So it's here at the top. So just ba-de-dee-dee-dee at the end. Then the last measure. Now, watch the dynamics. At the first, you're starting out loud, and then at the end of the second measure, you're coming down to a soft. It's like an echo. So at the beginning, we're loud, and that's the right hand. The left hand's just got accompaniment. And then you come down. And then come down to sort of soft. And then here, when you play these last notes, and then now you're coming back up to sort of loud. Not a lot of difference between sort of soft and sort of loud. Just come up a little bit. And then keep the left hand soft. We want to hear the right hand. And then at the end of the second line, you have a crescendo to loud, so it's here. Now you're starting to get softer again. And now we're back to medium loud. Crescendo back up to every time we get on this perfect fits, or every time we get to this, we crescendo up to it. And then we come down at the end of the page on page 30, because now we're medium soft, and that's the melody. A lot of contrast in the dynamics going on here, and that's really nice. It adds to the piece. I tend to bring out the last measure of the first line a little bit. It's like an interlude. It's an afterthought. And then I'm going to come back down to the medium soft when the melody comes back in. That's just a personal thing. I do that. You don't have to do that. Now, see the crescendo in the last measure of the second line? Get a little louder. It's the same as an arrow. They use the word for some reason. Now we're medium loud. We went up to loud again. At the end, the second ending, you're starting it loud. There's a molto ritardando, means slow down a lot, and a crescendo up to fortissimo, or very loud. So, and that roll, mean it when you roll it, and stay loud. And the pedal's going to keep it all going. Learn this without pedal first, of course. Now, in my opinion, the pedal sometimes gets in the way. But they've got a lot of pedaling in here, so let's kind of go with what they've got and see what happens, huh? It's overlapping pedal at the beginning. So I'm going to push the notes down first and then the pedal. And I'm going to change it every 2 beats for the first measure and a half or so. I got to lift it with the staccatos because I need the staccatos. So here, it comes up when I play these notes. The staccatos, it comes up with them. And then goes back down on the third measure. Again, the staccatos, it's got to come up so I can get those. I don't pedal the last measure of the first line. And then I start pedaling again, legato on the second line. Every 2 beats. Actually, what it's doing is it's pedaling with the changing in the left hand. The bass line. you're changing the pedal with that. So at the last measure, don't pedal those last 2 beats, because we need the staccato in the left hand, and here we don't pedal the 3rd line because of all the staccatos. We don't want to cover them up. You do it with the fingers. Hold them down with the fingers. Here. See? And 3rd line, back to legato pedaling. Lift it up at the end of the 3rd line, so we get staccato in the left hand, and then don't pedal the last line, first 2 measures of the last line. And you can pedal the last couple of measures. I would not pedal the 2nd beat on the last. I'd only pedal the 1st beat in the last measure, and that's it, because I want to hear the staccatos. Those are by themselves, and then top of page 31, back to legato pedaling again. And here they're saying pedal the whole 1st measure. It's okay. It gets a little blurry, but I can deal with it. And then the 2nd measure you don't, because we got staccatos. And just follow their pedaling there at the end, at the 1st line. And then keep going, 2nd line. And the 3rd measure, 2nd line, don't pedal that. And then you can pedal the last measure. Change the pedal just like they're telling you to on the last measure. And then go on. And then that last ending at the bottom, it's here. And then change it at the end. I changed the pedal when I played the C sharp in the last measure. Right after that, I changed the pedal right there. So the last 2 measures. And then at the end, the pedal and the hands come up at the same time. You don't wait for the music to die away, because that would take forever, and it's out of context for this piece. This is not a lovey-dovey sweet piece. This is a fun piece. This is a drinking piece, yeah. But it's a fun thing, so have fun. As far as how fast you go, you can find recordings and you'll find different people taking it at different speeds. If you were going to sing it, how fast would you sing it? But I'd recommend don't go real fast, because that really, some people get really carried away on this, like the 2nd line. It just, I suppose after a few beers that's fine, but otherwise keep the speed down.